We're going live. All righty. All right. Week 7 picks. Let's go. Oh, why can't I spell? All right. Post. Sharing that. All right. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the What Had Happened Was podcast. This fall has been pretty hectic. It has pretty much turned into an NFL podcast. I apologize for that. I know that's not what most of you tune in to hear, but it's just been between work and the kids, and then I coach soccer. It's been quite hectic. And when I say I coach like a high school team or a middle school team, I watch 8-year-olds run around like maniacs, and then also 4 to 6-year-olds run around like maniacs because neither of the kids' teams had coaches. And I enjoy it. I'm not going to pretend like I don't enjoy it. I do. I enjoy it very, very much. I shouldn't complain and act like it's like some burden because it's not. I really enjoy getting there with the kids and watching them improve. Our team, both teams have improved steadily throughout the season. So that's exciting. Teams that have not improved throughout the season, however, include the Tennessee Titans. And they play this morning at 9:30 over in London. But I think I like their odds today. Melvin Gordon is out for the Chargers. Not that he's their only go-to guy on offense, but Anthony Lynn likes to run the ball. They like to set things up with the run and then throw it deep over the top with Tyrell Williams and Phillip Rivers. So without Melvin Gordon, they're going to miss an important cog on their offense. They've been missing Joey Bosa all year on defense. They really dismantled the Browns last week. That was pretty impressive win for them because the Browns defense has been solid, and the Chargers just really gashed them in the running game, in the passing game, everywhere. I think Gordon ended up with like 3 touchdowns. He had like a friggin' college line. It was like 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. One of those like Heisman games where you're like, oh, that guy's the Heisman, but it was in the pros, so it was even more impressive. However, I'm going Tennessee plus 6.5. I really should be off their ship at this point. They're so Jekyll and Hyde. They'll come out and play well one week, and then the next week they'll lose to the Bills. They'll play well one week, and then they'll score 6 points the next. They're very, very Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know what it is. No Melvin Gordon. It's in London. Those games typically aren't close for whatever reason. They're blowouts. They're kind of like those Thursday games where they tend to be blowouts. But I will. I'll take Tennessee plus 6.5. I just feel like it's going to be a close game. I think San Diego. There I go. That's $1 in the penalty jaw. I feel like Los Angeles is going to win the game, but I just what Tennessee is going to be able to do defensively, even though they do have some guys out. I think Derek Morgan's out, Kenny Vaccaro's out, so they're going to be depleted on defense. Just give me the Tennessee plus 6.5 before I talk myself out of it. I did mention the Thursday games tend to be blowouts. Took Denver minus 1.5. I felt like that was pretty much a lock. Denver had run into a couple of buzzsaws. They had a couple unlucky games. Their run defense got gashed by the Jets and the Rams, and they came out on Thursday night and showed that they're not a complete pushover like the Cardinals are. The Cardinals are in shambles right now. I feel bad for Josh Rosen. I don't know how well he's going to be able to develop out there with that team in the situation it's in right now. That the coach, Steve Wilks, does not look, he's 7 games in. Who the hell am I to say after 7 games a guy doesn't belong in the NFL? But when he made the move to Josh Rosen late in a game against the Bears defense that's really good, it was not a good look for him, and it's not gotten much better. His team came out unprepared. I understand it was a Thursday night, but like the second or third play of the game, they had a couple like false start penalties or illegal motion penalties, which when your plays are scripted, you shouldn't be making too many penalties in the first 15 plays of the game. I mean, you know what you're doing. You've practiced it. You've done it in walkthroughs. The guy should know that first script or whatever they like to call it, and they've just looked bad. Again, who the hell am I to condemn a guy after 7 games? But he just does not look like he's an NFL coach, I guess you could say. So Steve Wilks on the hot seat already. Cardinals, we already know you done. Broncos, we already know. Yeah, actually, you're not in the AFC. The AFC is going to be pretty jumbled for the wild card race. I can't declare the Broncos done yet, although That ugly loss to the Jets was not good for them. Just one, because it was a conference loss, and two, because the Jets are not very, very good. It is an early morning here in the Dendarski household. We've got some cranky kids. I don't know if you can hear them right now, but that tends to happen on weekend mornings when you try to get them up, get some breakfast going. They had a late night last night. They had a grandparent movie night. They went to see Goosebumps 2, so that was fun for them. But they didn't get to bed till like 10:30 or so. So we kind of knew that this morning was going to be kind of a bit of a struggle. So I probably shouldn't be doing this right now. I should probably be trying to get them situated. But here I am doing this instead of helping them. And I spilled some coffee on the table. Just going well here. Starting off well. All right, New England -2 against the Bears. They opened up a 3.5-point favorite, but I think probably the Gronk injury, he didn't travel with the team. I don't think they've made it official yet that he's not going to play, but he's not going to play. So Gronk is out. That's a big issue because I don't have fucking service, dude. Hit me up on Hangouts or Slack. Um, it, it's insane the amount of service I don't have. I have no service. Either hit me up on Slack or Hangouts if you want at my parents' house. I don't know what else to tell you. I've told you guys multiple times I have no service. Did you call the house? Call the house phone. It's right there. I can pick up. We can do a live phone call on Facebook Live during the podcast, and then that'll be fun. I'm sure a lot of people would love to listen to that. But no, hit me up on Slack or Google Hangouts. I can talk on those. Otherwise, I don't have any service. The Patriots do have service. They seem to have found their rhythm. That was one of the best games of the year against the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. There was not a lot of defense played. It was kind of like the Eagles and Patriots Super Bowl. Teams went up and down the field, did whatever they wanted. Tyreek Hill is just too fast, entirely too fast. It almost should be illegal how fast he is. He was running wide open multiple times. And then the times he wasn't running wide open, he just caught the ball and outran everybody to the end zone. So it was nuts. The Patriots are -2, no Gronk. I'm going to take the Patriots in this game. Just because I don't know that the Bears are, oh God. I don't know that the Bears are able to outscore the Patriots. The Bears kind of play into the Patriots' hands. They like to play more quote unquote power football, and the Patriots are going to let them drive up and down the field. It's just, is Trubisky going to turn 3 into 7? And I don't think that happens. I think more often than not, they're going to get 3 instead of 7. For that reason, I think the Patriots are going to be able to go into Soldier Field and get the win. I'll take the Patriots -2 over the Bears there. Indy and the Colts. The Colts don't look like a great football team. The Bills really don't look like a great football team, especially when Josh Allen's not there running around like a crazy person. That kid's super athletic. He just is very inaccurate. I don't know that he's a quarterback. He can run. He's big. He's strong. He's got a huge arm. I just don't know that he's an NFL quarterback. I think he's like now he's out. He was completing less than 50% of his passes, barely throwing for like 150 yards a game. He had one really good game against the Vikings defense, which was a surprise to everyone. It ruined a lot of people's elimination pools. The Colts are -7. They've been ravaged with injuries. The Bills are pretty beat up. This game's tight. I don't know. Derek Anderson, I think, is going to start for the Bills because there's no way they trot Nathan Peterman back out there. It's going to be rough. All I know is both of those teams are done. You're done. Both of you you're done. No way they're getting in the playoffs. This game is for basically the loser to get a better draft pick. I would imagine Indy wins, but I don't know that it's by more than 7. I don't know. Indy's pretty bad. The Bills are not very good. I'll go Buffalo +7 just this week as a let's see what goes on with Derek Anderson, because I'm not really sure how that's going to go. Then let's see here. Actually, what the hell's going on back there? Hopefully, we can get all that taken care of. But all right, Detroit -3. Detroit, they are going into Miami to play the Dolphins. Oh man. All right. I'm thrown off here. All right. Detroit -3. They're going to go into Miami to play the Dolphins. The Dolphins lost Ryan Tannehill and then beat the Bears somehow. I don't know. Some people were saying it was a trap game for the Bears because they were looking ahead to the Patriots, which I get a little bit, but at the same time, they were coming off a bye week playing Brock Osweiler. You got to win that game if you're going to be a playoff contender. That game really made me question the Bears. I think it made everyone question the Bears, although I do think they've still got a really, really good chance to win the NFC North. The Packers do not look great. The Lions, they're Jekyll and Hyde. Who knows what team is going to show up? The Vikings do seem to have found themselves and found a rhythm. They look like they're going to go on a run here. But the Bears very easily could be in the hunt for the NFC North. They still have a lot of divisional games left. I think they've only played the Packers. So they still have 5 divisional games left, which is huge. Now you got 10 games left. 5 of them are against your divisional foes. It's kind of a big deal. And right now they're running the gauntlet of the AFC East. So they played the Dolphins last week. They played the Patriots this week. They then go to the Jets and then the Bills. So they can very easily, even if they lose to the Patriots this week, they can then beat the Dolphins or the Jets and the Bills and still have a pretty respectable record 9 weeks into the season. But we're not talking about the Bears anymore. We're talking about the Dolphins and the Lions, another NFC North team who I don't think can get it done, but I do think they beat Brock Osweiler today. I'm going to go Detroit -3. I don't trust them. I don't know why I like them, but I'm going to go Detroit -3. I think Matt Stafford and Kenny Galladay find each other enough times that they can make that happen. NFC North is the theme right now. All right. Oh, so it's like NFC North versus AFC East weekend. I just noticed that. Bears, Patriots. Then you have Lions, Dolphins, and then you have Vikings, Jets. So Minnesota comes east really on a roll. They seem to have found their stride. They found their defense, really, is what happened. Kirk Cousins and the offense, Adam Thielen, have been putting up numbers all year. But the defense finally has started to come around. The Jets are banged up. They lost their I don't know that he's a number 1 wide receiver, but he's their number 1 wide receiver. Quincy Enunwa to a high ankle sprain. Terrell Pryor tore a groin. The Jets ended up releasing him, which I think was a terrible choice. Someone's going to scoop him up. He looked really good when Enunwa went out. Unfortunately, he tore his groin, so he's going to be out for a couple weeks. So it's going to be Jets, Vikings in the Meadowlands. I got to go with Minnesota. I just don't think there's any way the Jets can make that work. I just don't think there's any way the Jets beat them. I mean, obviously it's the NFL. If they get a bunch of turnovers or, who knows what happens if Kirk Cousins falls and dies. I don't know what could happen, but I do know that I think the Jets are going to lose that game, and they'll probably lose it by more than 3.5. I don't know that they're going to be able to protect Sam Darnold. He's not going to have anybody to throw it to. The Jets are probably going to have to be in like 3 tight end sets or be sending their tight ends out as wide receivers. It's not going to be a good look because the way to beat the Vikings is to spread them out like the Rams did. Spread them out, throw the ball all over the field. The Jets are not going to be able to do that with their weapons they have right now. So that's just it sucks to say as a Jets fan that I'm probably going to be watching a lost cause today. But I've been saying that most weekends for the past like 15 years. So what the hell else is new? Eagles and the Panthers. Carolina comes to Philly. Philly is a 5-point favorite. Started off 4.5. It's all the way up to 5. The Eagles have been really unpredictable this year. They beat bad teams, but they struggle against good teams. I don't know that they can cover 5 points, but Carolina is not a very good team. The Eagles will be able to make them one-dimensional. The Eagles will be able to run. However, McCaffrey out of the backfield is always a weapon. Funchess. And Carolina sticks around in games. Their defense is pretty good. They did not look good last week. They did make a valiant effort, a valiant comeback, if you will. But at home, the Eagles really need to start getting things rolling here. I'm going to go Philly -5. I'll take that bet. I'm going to regret. I'm the best that's ever been. A little bit of went down to Georgia there for you, for my country fans. All right, Buccaneers and the Browns. Tampa is a 3.5-point favorite in Tampa Bay. Otherwise, this would be switched the other way, a 3-point favorite. Cleveland, if they were home. Cleveland looked really, really bad last week. Um, Tampa does not look great. Jameis Winston has been playing pretty well. I know a lot of people want to shit on him because they look better with Fitzpatrick, or they were actually winning games with Fitzpatrick, I should say. But Jameis Winston looks well. There's this stat the NFL keeps. It's called like expected completion percentage. So basically, like this pass is completed 68% of the time. And then versus real completion percentage. And Jameis Winston has one of the best differences in his expected completion percentage versus his real completion percentage. So basically, what that means is that he completes passes at a higher rate than what he's expected to, what the average NFL quarterback should. I think right now, like a guy like Sam Darnold, he's a rookie, so obviously it's going to be much lower. He's like minus 2%. So he's completing less percentage than an average NFL QB would. Baker Mayfield's like -7, something like that. So I think it's Breeze and Winston are the top two, which Breeze isn't surprising. That guy's phenomenal. But a guy like Brady, he's toward the end of his career. He typically is around like 2 or 3 percentage points better than the expected completion percentage. I think right now Winston and Breeze are both like 5 or 6 percentage points better. However, I don't know as a whole that they'll be able to stop the Browns. The Browns have really been able to spread teams out. You got to figure Mayfield's going to make some more mistakes, but I don't know why. I like Cleveland, so I'm going to go Cleveland plus 3.5 here. Hopefully they can keep it close. That half a point is huge because you figure if you lose 24-21, I still win the bet. It's for whatever reason that half a point just really, really sucks you in. Once Tampa went from a 3-point favorite to a 3.5-point favorite, I kind of, my ears perked up and I say, you know what? I'm going to take Cleveland there. And you can go ahead and insert your big ear joke there. Yes, my ears perked up. My giant satellite dish ears perked up, and I was pretty excited by that. All right, so let's see what's going on here. All right, who's next? Jacksonville, Tennessee. Houston goes into Jacksonville. The Texans, not the Titans, the Texans. I have bad eyeballs. I couldn't see from here. The Texans go into Jacksonville. They are going to play a struggling Jaguars team. Blake Bortles has looked not so great the past couple of weeks. As I talked about last week, like he didn't look as bad against the Chiefs as people said he did, but he looked really bad against the Cowboys. Against the Chiefs, balls were banging off of people's helmets. Just some weird shit was happening. Against the Cowboys, he just looked straight up bad. I was so surprised at the way the Cowboys were able to just curb stomp the Jags. It was nuts. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Obviously, when you looked at the stats, though, it was a bizarre game. I don't know. It was turnovers or what? Like, I think Dak ended up throwing for like 180 yards and running for 100. Cole Beasley was the only wide receiver who had more than 2 catches. It was just a weird game. I obviously the Cowboys can't keep that up. You're not going to put up 40 every week, but it was just a funky game. I don't know that the Jags are going to be able to get out of that funk today. But what I do want to say is, man, kudos to Deshaun Watson. I've been pretty critical of him on this podcast, on this segment about the NFL picks. But man, that guy played through like a collapsed lung and broken ribs. And I don't know what more you can ask for out of your quarterback just besides being that tough. So that's had to have affected his performance the past couple of weeks while I've been judging him like, oh man, he doesn't look the same. The guy's got a fucking collapsed lung and broken ribs. So again, I'm a big fucking dummy and I probably should keep my yap shut. However, he hasn't looked great. So I'm going to take Jacksonville -4 here at home to get their season turned around back on track. If Houston loses that game, Jacksonville wins, it could kind of already start to separate some things in the AFC South. The Colts are bad. The Titans don't look great. The Jags have looked really, really bad. And the Texans have been able to come back from that. I think they were like 0-3, 0-4 start and been able to make some noise and get right back in the discussion in that division. So this is actually a pretty big game for both of those teams. I'm going to take Jacksonville -4 to get things going again. Even though it looks like Leonard Fournette, man, that guy looks like he's done for the year. They just traded the Browns for Carlos Hyde. I almost forgot about that completely. I'm glad I thought about it. That's like a shame because that guy looked like he was going to be great. Came out last year and everybody really had high opinion of him because of like, I guess it was the one game against the Steelers. He had a ginormously long run, which is a word, ginormously. Really long run at the end of the game to seal that win. And that was when the people started taking the Jags serious. But he averaged under 4 yards a carry. He was not great last year. He's been oft injured at LSU. Now he has a hamstring issue that's clearly going to keep him out for some time. Otherwise, why would they go out and sign Carlos Hyde? it's just not, it's not looking good for a guy who's drafted in the top 5 overall, who had all the talent in the world and should really be flourishing. But for whatever reason, injuries and I don't know, it's just, I guess, bad quarterbacking. Can we blame something else on Blake Bortles? What else can we blame on Bortles? Leonard Fournette's hamstring. That's what we'll do. We'll blame Leonard Fournette's hamstring on Blake Bortles so we can try to run him out of town as soon as possible. I can tell you, though, Jags fans, the grass ain't always greener. Jets got rid of the Sanchez, who was not great by any stretch of imagination, and it's been a shit show ever since. Fitzpatrick had half a good year and then has shit the bed. McCown had 6 or 8 good games, and then he got hurt. So the grass ain't always greener when you have an underperforming first-round quarterback. Sometimes you just need to stick with that guy. He's taking you to an AFC championship game. He's taking you to the playoffs. Like, let's pump our brakes a little bit. Doesn't get much better. Usually it gets worse. Baltimore and New Orleans. What a transition that was. The Saints come into Baltimore. It's not a great day outside. Drew Brees doesn't have the biggest hands. There we go. Got to get the hand measurement for the drafted quarterbacks. That's why he fell. The guy had tiny hands. He couldn't have a big arm. He couldn't throw the ball in bad weather. That's why we didn't draft Drew Brees. He's just a terrible quarterback. No, all those things I think Brees has proven pretty wrong. But Baltimore's -2.5. I don't think they have any business being a favorite over the Saints, even though this game is outside and the Saints struggle outdoors in bad weather. Looks like it's going to be a little wet here in the Mid-Atlantic region. I'm going to go New Orleans +2.5, and I'll probably be regretting that at about 7 o'clock tonight when that game gets over. But all signs point to the Saints being a really good team. All signs point to the Ravens being a, above average team. They're going to beat a lot of bad teams, and then they're going to struggle against some really good teams. He's just Joe Flacco. You never know which one you're going to get. I've said Jekyll and Hyde about 75 times on this podcast, but it fits. God damn it! I need to find a new analogy. Is that an analogy? A metaphor? Simile? One of those. I need to find a new comparative term aside from Jekyll and Hyde. Team that has not been Jekyll and Hyde this year, the LA Rams. They go to San Francisco and CJ Beathard. They're beat up. They played really, really well against the Packers. They should have beaten the Packers. They kind of blew that game, letting Rodgers just go down the field at the end there and get that field goal. So not that they let him, but it was pretty obvious that he was picking on number 26, and they just stayed in man and said, fuck it. We're not going to help him out. We'll just stay in man and let Rodgers throw 4 back shoulder throws to wide open players the whole way down the field. I just didn't understand the defensive play calling there. I understand if you're a man team, you got to stick to what you know. But at the same time, if Aaron Rodgers is literally picking on the same guy 2-3 plays in a row, you might want to switch it up. They didn't. Whatever. Oh, Aaron Rodgers also looked old as fuck when I know he's hurt. Now he's got a MCL issue, but there was one play at the end of the game where like the seas kind of parted and he ran up the middle for 12 or 13 yards, and he looked like a stepdad out there running around like he was going to yell at his kids to go get him a beer after that run. Like he was like, I'm fucking tired out here. I've been moving mulch all day. Go grab me a beer. I don't know. I think that's what stepdads yell. I've never had one, so I would imagine that's how they yell. Something about mulch and beer. That's what they do. But the Rams, again, back to the Rams, who have not been Jekyll and Hyde. They're a 9-point favorite, and I'm going to take the points. I know that's a lot of points for an away team, but they just look like a way better team than Niners. I got to give it up to Kyle Shanahan. He's had a shit go of it these first 2 seasons. Like, his quarterbacks get injured. He ends up going to CJ Beathard for like 20 games of his career, and he's had teams that hang in there and play tough. However, at the end of the day, the NFL is about winning, and he'll probably get this year as a bye year because Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL. But then next year, you got to think that the hot seat, the seat will start getting hot under Kyle Shanahan, who was the poster child, I guess the not the poster child, the golden boy after his days in Atlanta. And he's still a really good offensive coach. It's just, is he an NFL head coach? And we're going to find that out next year because we're not going to find that out this year. Speaking of the Cowboys, I spoke of them 2 games ago. So why not say speaking of the Cowboys when I make a transition? The Cowboys and the Slurs. The Cowboys come to D.C. To take on Washington. This game started off Washington -1.5. It then went to Washington -2. It's now gone to Dallas -1. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if there were any injuries. I'm not certain. Nothing's come across my ticker, but it's a bizarre line shift. I guess maybe the public was high on Dallas after their win against Jacksonville. I don't know. I'm going to take Washington +1 here. I again don't trust the Cowboys. I don't trust Dak. Washington is so good on the interior. They got Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen. They're really, really good on the interior. Ryan Kerrigan. They're not going to be able to run the ball on the Redskins. As watch Zeke Elliott runs for like 180 yards today. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball. We know what happens when the Cowboys can't run the ball. That offense looks really bad. It's probably going to be like a 19-18 game, one of those weird numbered scores games, like where it's like, how the fuck did they score 19 points? But I'm thinking that's what it'll be. I think it'll be like 19-18. Maxon's, I don't think you can see him. I think he's off camera, but he's got a shark that he got last night, and he's like in love with it. It's on a leash. Here, bring it in. Come here. So this is the shark. I think we're calling it Sharky because my super creative original son, when he names things, he just puts a Y at the end. We have a snake named Snaky and a shark named Sharky and a dad named Daddy. Hey, there we go. We had to get a dad joke in there at some point in time. So I'm going Washington +1, the Slurs, to take that one over the Cowboys and really kind of start the conversation. Are the Redskins for real in the NFC East? And I think that only goes as far as the Eagles. Like, the Eagles are probably the best team in the NFC East, but Jay Ajayi's out. They've still not started to click. So the Redskins are racking up wins and technically, I think, in first place. So we'll see here. Everything will shape itself out by about week 12. We'll kind of have a better idea of what's going on. But if the Skins can get this win, a divisional win at home, that kind of makes a statement. Again, a divisional loss at home is not as good of a look. People don't take you as seriously. But if you can get a divisional win at home, I think people have to start taking you seriously. So give me the Slurs +1. Which brings us to the Sunday night game. After their performance last week on Sunday night, you got to hope for some fireworks again. This week, they are home. Last week, they were in New England. This week, they are in Kansas City. Cincinnati comes to Kansas City. Kansas City is a 6-point favorite. I don't know that I can take them as a 6-point favorite over the Bengals. The Bengals are a pretty solid team. It's just Andy Dalton, the cardiac cats. At some point that at some point that shit's going to catch up to him. We had a pan catastrophe, a pot catastrophe. Hesitate to say pot, but not like not marijuana, but actual pots. I think we're going to make some brunch, some pancakes for brunch, and every single pot that was in the cabinet just fell out. But the cardiac cats have come back late, and I think they're going to be able to do that again. The Chiefs do not have a great defense. Cincinnati's got a very underrated offense with Joe Mixon, AJ Green, Andy Dalton's. Again, he's underrated, but at the same time, you don't want him as your quarterback. So give me Cincinnati +6 in that game. What can I say about Patrick Mahomes that hasn't been said? I'm not going to sit here and talk about how he's MVP and sign him up for the Hall of Fame and all that shit. He looks great. He looks really, really good. The Patriots did a good job in the first half of making him look pedestrian. He made a lot of bad reads in that first half. He looked like a normal NFL quarterback, but when you've got guys like Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Tyreek Hill, they make up for a lot of that. And the kid's young. He's going to learn. He's going to end up being probably a really, really good NFL quarterback. But I think right now, the hype train on him is a bit much. He's got Andy Reid, who's been known to make quarterbacks look better than they are. He's got 2 super duper fast wide receivers. He's got a really good running back. He's got a great tight end. So while I think he is going to be a really good quarterback, there are going to be teams that can scheme things up to confuse him and make him look, I guess you could say, normal. What the Patriots got, what happened to the Patriots was that they got too far out ahead. They got really far. I think it was like 24-3. They ended up playing prevent the entire second half, and Mahomes was able to find Tyreek Hill and just get it to him, and then he makes plays happen, and he gets to the end zone. So against the Chiefs, your best bet is to play a close game, because then you don't have to drop into that prevent defense. If you drop into prevent defense, you're fucking done. Tyreek Hill's too fast. Patrick Mahomes has too big of an arm, and he will find openings. That being said, he's not like I don't think he's some quarterback that can't be beat or can't be schemed against. So I'm going with the Bengals +6. They still got a pretty good defense with Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap. They can cause some problems for quarterbacks, and I think they're going to be able to do that. So I'm going Bengals +6 there. The Monday night game is kind of a dud. The Falcons are just really hurt, but if they can string together some wins here, their schedule's pretty friendly to them. They can get back in the talks of the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen, but their schedule is favorable these next like 5 to 6 weeks. So we'll learn a lot about these Falcons in the next month and a half. They're playing the Giants. The Giants have looked bad. Odell Beckham doesn't like the squishy feeling that water gives him when he drinks it. What the hell was that? Who the hell doesn't like and who uses the word squishy after you're, I don't know, 20 years old? Even 20 might be pushing it. If you're above the age of 12, you probably shouldn't be referring to things as squishy. Like water makes my belly squishy. So I've had to get IVs more often because I don't like to drink water. Makes my stomach squishy. Are you fucking kidding me? Squishy? What the hell are we doing here, Odell? I want to stick up for you and I want to like you, but I can't co-sign the squishy talk. Emojis when you talk. I don't care. When you tweet, when you text, use emojis all you want. I'm fine. I'm not that old school. But when you say that the water makes your belly squishy, I gotta pump the brakes there. For that reason alone, I'm taking Atlanta -4. Vegas is pretty much saying that the Giants are the pick in this game. Falcons started off a 6-point favorite. It came down to 5.5. It's all the way down to 4. Vegas is basically begging people to take Atlanta at this point. Atlanta -4. So that tells me the Giants are probably going to win this game outright because Atlanta at home -4 just seems like too dumb of a pick not to make, but I'm a dummy, so I'm going to make it. Atlanta -4 is the pick on Monday night. So let's run these down. Atlanta -4, Cincinnati +6, Washington +1, the Rams -9, New Orleans +2.5, Jacksonville -4, Cleveland +3.5, Philly -5, Minnesota -3.5, Detroit -3, Buffalo +7, New England -2, Tennessee +6.5, and the Broncos, I already won, -1.5. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I keep saying I'm going to try to do a regular episode of the podcast. I don't know if I'm going to have time. I am going to try. I do have notes taken in my phone of things I would like to talk about. Why not? Maybe I'll go missing like a Saudi journalist. Who knows? Maybe I'll just come up missing, and then you guys will be like, oh, haven't heard from Mike in 2 weeks. I guess he lied. He's not going to do a podcast again. But no, I do. I want to do another regular podcast. I just prioritize this NFL one first. I don't know why. I just do. I enjoy the NFL. Hopefully I can get back to doing 2 a week during the NFL. Got about a half hour till kickoff over in London. Guys, enjoy your football Sunday. I'll be back someday. I'm going to try to say Wednesday, but it might not be Wednesday. It might be Tuesday. Might not be Tuesday. It might not be till next Sunday when I record another NFL podcast. Why am I still talking? You guys don't give a shit. Have a good one. Bye.